Let me turn on my mic. That might actually work better. But hey, welcome back to week 3 NFL Picks live show. We're going to go game by game, make our picks, talk a little bit of football, get our minds off the Cowboys. Because believe me, here on this channel, we talk Cowboys. And by the way, tomorrow, pregame prediction will be dropping. And we talk about the Cowboys and the Ravens. And, of course, we're going to talk about it a little bit here. They got the afternoon slot on Fox. But it's going to be a lot of fun. I love hanging out with you guys, live chat and everything like that. What's up to everybody in the chat? Welcome. We're going to chill out here for about 30 minutes, talk some football, talk some NFL. Because this last week was insane. Can we talk about last week? Last week was nuts. So many upsets. So many upsets. So many teams that shouldn't have won, they won. And that's just the NFL. Like any given Sunday. Just wild. And that's the thing about, the first couple of weeks of football is it's so hard to make picks because there's you just have no idea. Like a team could start 2-0 and they could still end up missing the playoffs at the end of the season. It's just unpredictable in that way. But anyways, we're going to go over it. We're going to go over my picks from last week. And we're sponsored by Diet Dr. Pepper. Nah, I'm just kidding. No, we're not. But what else is coming up? Pre-game prediction tomorrow for the Cowboys and Ravens. And then Friday, the Madden prediction. And then, of course, we got the weekend. And then we got game day, afternoon slot. But let's go ahead and jump on in. Let's go ahead and bring up our picks on the screen right here. So far, so good. I'm 19-13 on the season. And last week, like I said, was a little bit of rough. We went Jason Garrett, full-on Jason Garrett last week, 8-8. Kind of sad that no one can really go 8-8 anymore in the NFL since we've added the extra game in the NFL schedule. Pretty sad, but maybe it's for the best. But anyways, let's take a look at the comments here. TKG says, I know why we lost because we played the early game instead of the late afternoon. If you believe in superstition like that, sure. I've said it before on this channel. I really enjoy the early games, kind of gets your nervousness out of the way and just gets it over with, and just lets you enjoy the rest of the Sunday and watch the rest of the game. So I appreciate that. Sunday nights and Monday nights are killers because you're just waiting all day for Sunday night. Blitz says, what's up, Tony? It's me again, Blitz. Welcome back, Blitz. I remember you. We had a lot of fun last week. And rest assured, we're going to go through, make our picks, do our thing, have some fun. But like I said, week 2 was wild. I told you all about the Raiders. Now, okay, if you guys remember last week, we talked about the Raiders and the Ravens. I chose the Ravens. Okay, so I was wrong there. But I said, wouldn't it be crazy? And you can watch the live stream. You can go back. It's there on the channel. And I talked about, hey, wouldn't it be crazy if the Raiders maybe, upset the Ravens? And they did, which is wild. And now the Ravens are 0-2. Comment down below, chat. What's the most surprising thing thus far in the NFL season? What's the main headline? What's the thing that has just been the most surprising thing 2 weeks into the season? And it could be straight up an overreaction. Gabe says, if we beat the Ravens, I'll be happy, and all the Ravens fans would be shocked to be 0-3. And, it's pretty high up there. Ravens being 0-2 is a surprise. It was going to be tough beating the Chiefs on opening night. But, you should beat the Raiders if you're the Ravens. So they should have at least been 1-1. So I think that's one. I think Jacksonville's a little bit of a surprise. Maybe expected them to be a little bit better, especially with Trevor Lawrence. What's another surprise? I feel like the Bears are surprising. They're better than I thought they would be. 1-1, Everyone just expects the Bears to be bad, but they have an actual solid defense. And then if their offense can just get it going, they'd be able to win some games. Giants are no surprise. No one's surprised about the Giants. No one's surprised about the Giants. I think Buccaneers are definitely a surprise. picking up right where they left off. That's another surprise. Panthers are not a surprise. We always thought they were going to be bad. Raiders showing a little bit of toughness. Victor in the chat said Ravens haven't started 0-2 since 2015. Completely agree. That is something I touched on my 3 things to know short. And if you guys haven't, links are down below. TikTok, X, Instagram. Follow me on all those platforms. But yes, Ravens have not started 0-3 since 2015, and when they did that, they missed the playoffs. But let's go ahead and jump on in. Week 3 is full on go, and we got a big slate here, full slate of games. No one's in their bye week just yet, and so let's go ahead and start off with a Thursday night football game. Prime football. Thursday night, you got an AFC East showdown. You got the New England Patriots versus the New York Jets. Pats have been surprising. Pats have shown a little bit of fight so far in the season. New coach and everything. New quarterback and everything. They have shown some fight and perhaps potential and maybe some promise. 1-1. Now, the New York Jets laid an egg in San Francisco. I'm not a big fan of Nathaniel Hackett, their offensive coordinator. Their defense, I think, is the real deal. And I think their offense has a lot of potential to be great. I think the pieces are there with their offensive line. I think they have good receivers and obviously good quarterback. Victor's already jumping in here and saying Jets 2015. That's an odd score. But yes, I will completely agree. I'm going to go with the New York Football Jets right here. And I think they win. They should win. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the Pats surprised them and just gave them a show. I definitely don't think this is going to be a blowout either way. That would be surprising if it was. But I do believe the Jets win this game maybe by 6 points. I wonder what the spread is. If anyone can research and spread that. Gabe says, shocked to see that the Chargers and Vikings and Steelers are 2-0. Completely agree. Blitz says 14-3 for his Jets prediction. TKG says this game is going to be ugly, I think, but I don't know who I want to win. Well, the cool thing is, like, we don't play the AFC East this year, so I'm talking about the Cowboys. We don't play them, so we don't have to really worry about them. They're kind of just in their own world over there. The Pats are now an underdog, weirdly, and I kind of want to see them do good. But it would be kind of annoying for them to become a dynasty again. They're very far away from that. But I think the Jets get this one. But let's go ahead and move into Sunday here. We got our first game. We got the Giants and the Browns. You talk about a complete mid-off here. A very unexciting game. So glad it's in the early slate. Just something to get over. Giants are 0-2. Browns are 1-1. Browns got a surprising win last week. And this one's going to be interesting. Both teams aren't special. I'll say what I said about the Browns in week 1. I think they have obviously a solid defense and they got great offensive weapons. The biggest question mark is obviously just their quarterback. They got a bunch of new coaches, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. So that does take a few games outside of training camp and preseason to get that system in place. Now the Giants, on the other hand, what a train wreck. And I know we're not surprised about that. We're definitely not surprised about the Giants. And we play them next week. So if the Cowboys do drop this game against the Ravens, there's a pretty good chance that we even it up and at least get back to 500, 2-2. Victor's already in the chat saying I'm choosing the Browns 29-7. Victor, I like your scores. It's not the typical 28-21, 14-7. Like, you chose Jets 2015 and you chose the Browns 29-7. I like those. I like your scores. I like the odd things. But yeah, I'm with you on this one. Victor has chosen for the group. We got the Browns beating the Giants, especially in Cleveland. And my hot take, well, it's not really a hot take. I think this is the game that gets Daniel Jones benched. I think that's pretty safe to say. You start the season 0-3. I mean, could they fire Dable before they switch out Daniel Jones? I just don't know if that's... I don't know. Daniel Jones has been there longer. So I feel like he should be the one to go. And then give Dable an actual chance with another quarterback. Right? But I mean, you paid Daniel Jones all that money. because the market dictated it. But I like it. Yes, Browns beat the Giants. Gabe says Browns 28-10. Okay, we're all thinking one-sided. I think so too. All right, next game. Got the Bears and the Colts. This one's going to be interesting. Because two teams, these are two young rising teams. And they're looking to make a statement with their young teams. Bears, like I said, we've already talked about them. Solid defense. I like what they're doing. I think Caleb, I was very indifferent on Caleb. I'm not going to hate him or, glorify him or anything like that. But I think he's showing promise, and I think there are a few things that if he can control and feel better at, making that transition from a college level to a professional level, I think he'll be fine. And on the other hand, you got the Colts, Anthony Richardson, Michael Pittman, Jonathan Taylor. I think on paper the Colts look better than the Bears, but I actually like the Bears on the road going to Indianapolis and getting a win. So I'm going to go with the Bears. That's my upset pick. I don't even know what the point spread is on this. I would imagine that it might be the Colts. But yes, I'm going to go with the Bears on this one. Next game, we got the Texans and the Vikings. Another interesting one because the Vikings just beat the 49ers. And, obviously no Christian McCaffrey on the IR, out for 4 weeks. But, you beat the 40, and they did that last season too, and we talked about that last week in our Week 2 live picks. We're like, didn't the Vikings beat the Niners last year? And they beat them back-to-back years. What is going on in Minnesota? Because the Cowboys need some of that. And it's not a close game. Like the Vikings are taking care of the Niners both times. I think if you guys saw, Brock Purdy went over to Brian Flores, the defensive coordinator for the Vikings defensive coordinator, and it was caught on audio that he's like, your scheme is crazy. It's all scheme, and that's why all of us were very adamant about the scheme matchup between Kubiak and Zimmer with the Cowboys and the Saints. Like, it matters, obviously. Players got to do their part, but it matters how the scheme puts them in their scheme. Victor says that's going to be a good game, Texans and Vikings. I think so too. I think so too. I think this is going to be a great game. Early slot. I'm excited to watch this one. Just curious, how many of you guys watch your games? Is it like Sunday Ticket? Are you just watching whatever's on locally? Or are you using StreamEast? StreamEast for the win. This one's a tough one. I could see the Vikings winning this one, but I think Justin Jefferson's out. I think he's out, which hurts my fantasy team. I think he may be out. Regardless, I think with or without him, I think the Texans should win this game, and the Texans should move to 3-0. How about that for the start of the season for Houston? 3-0? Incredible. All right, here we go. Next game, we got the Eagles and the Saints. Oh, boy. We just got to talk about Sunday Night Football. And if you guys were following me on Instagram, look, this is why you guys jump into the live show here. Because on Instagram, I messed up. I messed up on Instagram. Every week after the last NFC East game, I will post the NFC East standings. And if you're not following me on Instagram, go and follow me on Instagram at Tony Goat Romo. I messed up because the Eagles, they failed. I think they got the first down. This was before the Saquon Barkley drop, and they got the first down. And I was like, that's game. Easily, that's game, right? So I post in my frustration, in my anger. I go ahead and post the standings with the Eagles being, I think at the time, 2-0 or something. And then it would have been the Commanders, the Cowboys, and the Giants. I post it. And then the drop happens. Kellen Moore cannot help himself. And he goes ahead, calls a passing play. Now, if Saquon catches it, we're not talking about the play call. We're not talking about any of that. But point is, Saquon drops it. And everything just unravels. They kick the field goal, but then freaking Kirk Primetime Cousins goes down the field like he's freaking Peyton Manning with that number 18. And wins the game. Just wild. So I messed up. I deleted the first post on Instagram, and then I reposted the correct one with the Eagles losing and the Commanders on top of the NFC East. Cowboy Noah says, yo, Tony, what happened to the Ravens helmet in the background? Shout out to you, Noah. Appreciate you for keeping us accountable on the helmets back there. So I don't know where it is, truthfully. I gave it a good look. They're somewhere in this house. I don't know, man. I got 2 kids. I got a family. It's somewhere in this house. But I could not find the Ravens one. So you just get the Cowboys one back there. But anyways, back to the Eagles and Saints game. I hope to, I'm not going to hope. I know Saints got this game. Saints will beat the Eagles. Eagles are so overrated, man. They're not going to figure things out offensively because of Kellen Moore. I mean, both games, the Eagles' offense has just been so disorganized. They've been terrible. I mean, it's just Hurts trying to get something going with his legs, and he doesn't get the ball out to some talented wide receivers that he has. And they're not running the ball with Saquon Barkley. And their defense cannot stop the run, just like the Cowboys. And their secondary is burnt toast. Saints should take advantage of this. And if we're talking about the 49ers Shanahan tree, dominating matchups, the 49ers completely killed the Eagles a year ago. Saints should win this and go to 3-0. Eagles dropped to 1-2. Let's go look at the chat for a little bit. I have a question about Barkley. Did he get across the line, the TD, because it looks like he didn't? It was at the end of the game. Great question. No, he did not, which was unfortunate. I had a 4-legged Prize Picks bet, and I needed Barkley to get a touchdown because I would have at least got my money back. But no, he was short, and the touchdown did not count. Yeah, I'm still mad about that. Alexander says, what up? What's up, Alex? Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the live show. Gabe says Jalen Hurts will throw 2 interceptions. I wasn't too impressed with the defense of the Saints. Obviously, they did a good job. But, the Cowboys were able to move the ball. They just couldn't, capitalize in the red zone. Their offense, though. Yeah. So I got the Saints in this one. I got Saints by 10. Moving on. We got the Chargers and the Steelers. Going to be a very interesting game. Chargers are rolling. If we're looking at the standings, the Chargers are 2-0 and technically on top of the AFC West, just based on their opponents that they've defeated. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers, on the other hand, 2-0. You got a battle of undefeated teams here at Heinz Field. Would it be crazy if I told you I like the Steelers in this matchup? I'm just really all about defense. And I think if this game was maybe at SoFi, I think I like the Chargers. But because it's in Pittsburgh, I really feel like the Steelers are going to keep it. They're going to keep the score down. Because if it was in SoFi, I think it's 35-17 Chargers. But because it's at Pittsburgh, I think it's going to be low scoring. So something like 2017, something like that. Blitz is in the chat, says, read my comment, please. Let's read it, Blitz. Let's do it. We would be 2-0, but Mike Zimmer, Mike McCarthy, and our defense and O-line are not doing good right now. The only good player are Dak and CD. I think we're way better than the Saints. We should have won. Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, I agree. I don't know if we're the better team. It all comes down to scheme, right? So Victor says Steelers 31-28. Okay, so Victor and I are on the same page here. We're thinking the Steelers. High scoring, I don't know. That's going to be tough for the Steelers, really. Which is funny because we play them in a couple of weeks. It's going to be tough. And now, we got some splits in the chat. Gabe is saying Chargers 2017. Yeah, this one's, you could go either way, honestly. You can go either way with this game. If you say the Chargers, I could see it. Especially with Harbaugh. If this was Stanley's team, Staley's team last year, forget about it. But because it's Harbaugh. So here we go. Yeah, Steelers. Next game, we're going Broncos and Buccaneers. I've been on this Broncos train. I've been like cheering for them. Just, Bo Nix and Sean Payton. And it's not happening. It's not happening. They're not looking good. They're really not. They're 0-2. They're not doing anything right. Things are not coming together for the Broncos. And I'm kind of scared that they might actually be one of the worst teams. Like they might be down there with the Panthers, to be honest. And they just gave Patrick Surtain that new contract. Anyways, Buccaneers. Yeah, everyone in the chat agrees. Buccaneers. This is probably one of the easier ones. Next game. You got Malik Willis's return to Tennessee. You got the Green Bay Packers and the Tennessee Titans. Look, I'm still holding out on the Titans here. I think the Titans have a really good defense. I like their running backs. They're lacking with the wide receiver core and obviously question marks at the quarterback position. But I'm going to go with the Packers on this one. I'm going to go with the Packers. Titans haven't won a game. Packers are 1-1. So Packers, it's still scheme. It's still all scheme, really. Because Matt LaFleur has a really good system in place so that a guy like Malik Willis can come in, do what he needs to, and get out of there with the dub. Chad is agreeing. Packers 28-21. Yeah, I think we're all on the same page on this one. I'm kind of with Blitz on this one. It might be 28-21. Gabe saying 24-21. Yeah, I think we're all on the same page on this one, but Packers should win this game. I agree. TKG says, Titans, I never pick the Yackers unless they play the Eagles. Yeah, I could see that. See, everyone's going with the Packers in the chat. Everyone's going with the Packers. Good picks. I like them. All right, here we go. We're done with the early slate. Let's go ahead and move into the afternoon slot. A lot of games in the afternoon slot, including our boys. Of course, we will make our picks, and you will hear what I have to say about that game in a very short and concise moment. But thank you again so much, everyone, for jumping in the chat and watching this live show. Again, I love hanging out with you guys. This is awesome. I love doing this every Wednesday. It's a lot of fun. So here we go. Panthers and Raiders. Yeah, this one's a pretty easy one. Look, they got the red rifle. They bench Bryce Young, which is unfortunate. And it's just hard for these number one overall picks because it's a two-sided coin because you're the best player coming out of college, so you're going to go to the worst team in the NFL. And there's so much pressure on you from those organizations and those franchises to turn this league around. But it doesn't help when you trade away guys like DJ Moore that are there to help a young quarterback. It's unfortunate. I'm really cheering for Bryce Young, even though I hate Alabama. But I just really feel like it was unfair. I really feel like it was unfair, the chance that they gave Bryce Young. That's just me. And so Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle, gets the start. We know a lot about him as Cowboy fans. I'll be cheering for him, man. I like Andy Dalton. I like Andy. I was so thankful for the year that he spent with us. But the Raiders should win this one. And that's what everyone's saying in the chat. Cowboy Noah says the Panthers suck. So Raiders are going to demolish the Panthers. We got Raiders 27-13. Raiders 35-0. Raiders 28-6. You guys are crazy. You guys are giving the Panthers no chill. But I couldn't blame you. I mean, they're so bad. Look up the ticket prices. If anyone is so kind enough to pull up their phone and look at the ticket prices for the cheapest ticket, let me know. What is the cheapest price to get into a Panthers game? Someone in the chat. Be kind enough to look it up. SeatGeek, something. Put it in the chat. How much does it cost to go to a Panthers game this weekend? Just lowest cost. We'll come back to it. Blitz says, Tony, you didn't change the mini helmets for this week. I know, man. I couldn't find the Ravens one. I couldn't find it. Alex said, Alex is coming in here with some hot stats. Says Andy Dalton is 3-0 versus the Raiders. That's a good stat. That's reporter status right there, Alex. I did not know that. If that is true, that is wild. Andy Dalton is undefeated against the Raiders. Really? Way to go, Alex. Good call out. Betty Tendy, and I think I know who that is. $31 is the cheapest. That's a cheap ticket. It's probably going to be so much lower as we get closer to Sunday. Thank you, Betty Tendy, for your comment. Someone Aiden says Panthers Bengals is $40 on Ticketmaster. Oh my gosh. Victor says the Panthers have not been the same since Cam Newton left. Yeah. I saw this tweet, and if you guys aren't following me on X, go ahead and follow me at Tony Go Romo. But I saw someone say like the Panthers have wasted talent and all that kind of stuff. Yes, they have. But they've also been to the Super Bowl in the past 28 years. They've been to the Super Bowl twice with Jake Delhomme, Steve Smith, those guys. They went and they played the Patriots, lost to the Patriots. I think it was 2004. And then they went to the Super Bowl 50, and they lost to the Broncos. So, yes, the Panthers are a pretty rundown organization right now, but they've been to they've been to the Super Bowl more than the Cowboys in the past 28 years. That's sad as a Cowboys fan. Anyways, will CD be out this week? That's a great question, man. I think he's going to play. It's really I know he showed up on the injury report and he didn't practice today. It's hard. Like, if he doesn't play, that injury is more than they're letting us to believe. But if he does play, it just means it's a dink, you know. He's going to have to, you know, he's just working through it. But if he doesn't play, I'm going to be so surprised. Really, I am. And that will kind of tell you how serious the injury was. And then I'm going to want to know, what was it? Like, what play in the Cowboys and Saints game caused this injury? Because there was the big hit in the end zone. I mean, that was like almost concussion worthy. I mean, Dak gave him a hospital ball. I mean, if we're talking about that game, that should have been a back shoulder throw from Dak to CD. That's an easy 6. On top of the 6 that they missed earlier in the game due to the miscommunication. I think CD's going to go. I would be very surprised if he didn't. Next game, we got the Dolphins and the Seahawks, and we got a lot to talk about the Dolphins. Dolphins, I believe, are 1-1. Let me double check that. Yeah, Dolphins are 1-1, and the Seahawks, I believe, are undefeated. Yeah, they're 2-0. They're the only undefeated team in the NFC West. Way to go, Geno Smith. Seahawks are rocking up in Seattle. And obviously, you got the Tua situation, right? This is something we didn't talk about, obviously, because it happened last week. But comment down below. Everyone in the chat, I want to know your take on Tua. Should he retire? Should he not retire? I think that's kind of just as simple as that question could be. Alex says, I got Dolphins with the upset? What? Skylar Thompson goes to Seattle and beats the undefeated Seahawks? I mean, I wouldn't put it past Mike McDaniel from scheming up something crazy. Noah says, is Tua out this week or not? Tua's out for the next 4 weeks. He's officially been put on IR, which is wild. And I'll say this about Tua really quick. I don't think it's us for us to maybe make that decision. Like, it's obviously his, and it's a big decision for him. But I can only say, like, look out for your family. Like, football is fun, and obviously that's all he's kind of known for his adult life, from Alabama days to playing in Miami. But, like, just put your family first. Blitz says, Tony, even though you've never shown them on camera, how is the family? I'm asking because I like your videos and shorts. I just want to say hi to the family. Hope for the best for y'all. What a kind comment, Blitz. And I will tell you, my wife's actually in the comments. You guys can have fun and guess who it is. But what a very nice comment, Blitz. Thank you. The family's doing great. The kids are great. The kids are all right. The wife and I were superb. We appreciate you asking, man. Yeah, I haven't shown them on camera. Maybe one day. I don't know when that day will be. Cowboys win the Super Bowl. We'll all jump on camera. How about that? No, but the family's great. I really appreciate you asking. We're excited for the fall. Can't wait for Christmas. All fun. Shout out to Blitz. What a nice question. Let's look at some of the comments. Benatendi says Tua should retire. Aiden says, I think Tua needs to at least sit down with his family and doctors to really evaluate the situation before he thinks about retiring or not. It's whatever is best for him. Aiden, that's a great answer. I think you and I are on the same page. Alexander says, last Sunday morning, Tua said that he will not retire. I did see that. Benatendi says, do people think your name is Tony? I think for the most part, people know that my name is Kyle, but I think it's just easier to call me Tony because of Tony Go Romo, TGR. I get called Tony. I get called TGR. When I'm on Cowboys Can Fan, they call me Tony sometimes. So, yeah. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump to the next one. We got the Lions and the Cardinals. Cardinals bounced back, and I'm happy to see that. They really needed to get Marvin Harrison Jr. going. And we talked about that last week, and it would have been crazy if they didn't, but they finally did. This one actually might be a tough game. Like, I actually think this might be a closer game than people are thinking of, but I still do think the Lions come out on top. What say you, chat? Alex says Lions. Blitz says Lions 42-14. Whoa! Going with the blowout. All right. Someone's confident in the Lions. Let me ask this question, chat. Who do you think the best team in the NFC is right now? Last week I said the Lions, but obviously the Lions lost. Benatendi says Cards 28-21, going with the upset. Aiden says Lions barely win, 31-27. That's another good choice. Gabe says Lions 38-21. Who's the best team in the NFC? I'm interested to see what you guys think. Last week I said the Lions. I don't think the Lions are the best team in the NFC anymore because obviously they lost. But I think it might be the Saints. Aiden and I agree. Aiden says, Saints, I can't lie. Every other contender looks odd. Of course, it's early in the season. We all know that. Michael says Kyler is 0-2-1 versus the Lions. Great job, Michael. Great job pulling out the stats. I love things like that. What if he goes for another tie? Let's go for the 0-2-2 record against the Lions. Alexander says 49ers. I don't know, Alex. They lost to the Vikings. I know they didn't have CMC and Debo's with injuries. Victor says Lions. Blitz says Cowboys when they're locked in. Hey, man, we're all delusional Cowboys fans in here. Gabe says, yeah, it's Saints right now. Yeah, it's got to be the Saints. Of course, it's early in the season. I just want to take a temperature of the room. And we're going to ask that every week. But just wanted to see where we're at. I think definitely the Saints. I think beating the Cowboys really put them on the map and really got us all thinking like, they're actually pretty good. They're just not beating the Panthers. Okay, here we go, guys. Let's talk about it. And, of course, pregame prediction video dropping tomorrow morning, so I will be breaking down the whole game, defense, offense, my pick, everything like that. Here we go. Cowboys and Ravens. Now, before you make your pick, because I know you're jumping in the chat right now, this is an unbiased and realistic Cowboys channel. So you're not hurting anyone's feelings if you put something different down below. I really want to challenge you guys. Like, we're all Cowboys fans, right? Like, we're all Cowboys fans. I know that. But after last week, I really want to challenge you all. What's your honest, unbiased feeling about this Cowboys-Ravens game? Go. Put it in the chat. Be honest. I won't judge you. I know we're all Cowboys fans. DCF for life. I know. But be honest, this is a safe space. Alexander is our first victim. He says, as a Cowboys fan, I got Ravens winning. Fireboy says, Saints don't see us again. They're getting blown out next time. Betty Tenney says, I don't think the Cowboys take this one. Mears says, Cowboys win with the late long field goal. That's a good choice. Aiden says Ravens O-line has struggled and their run game has actually been somewhat weak. I think it's going to be a super tough game. If Dallas truly gets their act together, I think they sneak one by a field goal. Great analysis, Aiden. Great analysis. Firo Boy says Cowboys 34-31. Blitz says Cowboys, but obviously going for the Cowboys, but Ravens 28-21. Aiden says 2017 Cowboys. Gabe says, I hate to say it, Ravens 28-21. Michael says Brandon Aubrey hits a 71-yard field goal to win. That would be wild, Michael. That would be wild. Lizzie says both teams are hungry for a win, but I think Ravens win because they want to win more. Fair. Noah says the Ravens are 5-1 all time against the Cowboys. And you're correct. Last time the Cowboys won, the only time that they won is back in 2016 when Dak and Zeke were rookies. Blitz says 2017 Ravens. Victor says Cowboys 35-28. Okay. So we put our picks in. And, it's a safe space. No one attack anybody in the comments. I think it's fair to say that if you are a Cowboys fan, you're going to be cheering for this team for the rest of your life. We all know that. But last week's game against the Saints brought about some doubts. And that's okay. Alex says, every time I pick against the Cowboys, they always prove me wrong. Sometimes it be like that. Mir says, Micah will spy Lamar entire game. I hope so, man. Either that or DeMarvion Overshown. We got to see Overshown play a lot more, for God's sake. Playing 17 snaps against the Saints after he was the number one graded player against the Browns. Come on. Lizzie says, low-key, I'm tired of losing, man. Same here, man. I hate losing more than I love winning. Alex says, Lamar's 20-1 versus NFC. Man, Alex, what are you... You're finding all the stats, man. You should be my writer for this show. That's a good stat. But yeah, I think I really think this game's going to be really good. I think it's just I'm going to be so surprised if it's a blowout, but I agree. The Cowboys are going to come back so much better because of the bad game that they had against the Saints. And the Ravens obviously are going to bring their best, trying to avoid that 0-3 start. Now, unfortunately, AT&T Stadium is not much of a home field advantage for Dallas, so it's kind of a neutral site. And I think this is low-key kind of like a revenge game for Lamar because he was drafted in 2018 at AT&T Stadium with the 32nd overall pick. So he's probably like, yo, this is where it all began, and now I got to go off and show the world again, even though he's a two-time MVP. Alex says, Lamar lost to Daniel Jones in 2022. Wow. He's the secret. Lizzie says, I think Diggs gets a pick. Would love it. Mir says, I hate losing. Been Cowboys fan since 77. Hey, man, at least you've seen some more Super Bowls than I have. If you're born in 77, you would have seen that Super Bowl win in 77. So you've seen 4 of them. Lizzie says, do you think Mike Zimmer has discipline with our defense? Here's my biggest problem, and I think you can find this video on this channel when I talked about Zimmer getting hired. Zimmer's a hard guy, like very disciplined guy. I just don't know if it matches our players. I think players of this generation are super talented, but they can also be very entitled, and they could be they're not very responsive to kind of that hard-nosed coaching that we've kind of known football to be. And I think some of the younger coaches are adapting to that, but like some of these older coaches, they struggle with that. And so to answer your question, I think he's disciplined. And, the Jordan Phillips move this morning, right? If you don't know what I'm talking about, well, defensive tackle Jordan Phillips was moved to IR for a supposed wrist injury, but then it came out that he had no wrist injury and he was ready to go. But it was basically Zimmer saying, like, I've seen enough of you. We're going to put you on the IR and you're going to sit on the sideline for 4 weeks. We're going to give someone else a shot because you played so bad against the Saints. So, sorry, I was reading the comments there. So, I think Zimmer, I just don't know if he's the right fit, to be honest. And I've said that in that video that I posted about when he was hired. I just don't know if he's a good fit for this younger generation. And I think that I don't want to. This is about week 3 NFL picks. This, we don't want to go too long about the Cowboys, but I think the Cowboys lack in that philosophy. But okay, my pick. Oh my gosh, I didn't even give you guys my pick. I've been listening to you guys all. I think it's gonna be tough, and it's gonna come down to a field goal. That's my gut feeling. It's gonna be a field goal. Would I love to see Aubrey hit that field goal and send us into a 2-1 record? And yeah, oh my gosh, I would love that. And to top a good team like the Ravens, oh my gosh, that would be great. Do I feel like that's gonna happen though? As your unbiased and realistic Cowboys fan, I'm expecting Justin Tucker to hit a field goal to win this game. Which sucks because Justin Tucker's been having like a terrible season so far. And look, this is what I said in the pregame prediction video that's coming out tomorrow morning. If you are a team struggling, if you are a team that is on a losing streak, play the Dallas Cowboys. Because everything will go your way. Like, you will look like yourself. And if you think I'm lying, like statistically, historically, this is so true. I remember a couple years ago, Cardinals were on a 3-game losing streak. They came to Dallas, and they beat the Cowboys in a game that they shouldn't have beat the Cowboys in. There's one last year. Maybe it was the Bills. I think the Bills were like on a 2-game losing streak, and then they completely killed the Cowboys. Just things like that. It's so dumb how that always happens. Lizzie says, if we do bad this season, you think we fire Mike McCarthy and bring Jerry's friend Bill Belichick? I think, yeah, Mike is probably gone if we miss the playoffs because he's on the last year of his contract. And I don't think Bill Belichick changes anything. I know, kind of wild, but I don't think he changes anything if he comes in. But okay, there you go. That's my pick. I think the Ravens win by 3. I know. But we're all unbiased and realistic Cowboys fan in the chat, so we're all good. Once again, thank you guys so much for commenting and chatting, and really love to see what you guys feel about the season so far. But let's go and close it out. We got the 49ers and the Rams. Tough game. 49ers don't have Christian McCaffrey again. No Debo. I think the 49ers win. Rams are without Cooper Kupp. I think they're without Cooper Kupp. I know they're definitely not without. I think they're definitely without Puka. But man, the 49er fans are going to take over that stadium. I mean, the Rams just have no home field advantage in Los Angeles. But I do think the Rams lose this game. 49ers should win this one. I got 49ers winning. Next up, I got the Chiefs and the Falcons for Sunday Night Football. Really interesting matchup. I mean, they're giving the Falcons a lot of primetime games. Interesting, right? I mean, but I'm all for it. I mean, if Kirk can do what he did last Monday night, every time he plays primetime now, oh yeah. I'm down for the Falcons research. Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts. Man, they got to get Pitts more involved, man. Bijan's no joke, man. Every time I see him run, I'm just like, man, the Cowboys missed out. I mean, he was way too low, but like, man, just imagine Bijan as a Cowboy. Oh. Imagine Xavier Worthy as a Cowboy. Oh. I think I just want Longhorns to be Cowboys. I mean, we got one. We got DeMarvion Overshown. Anyways, everyone in the chat saying Chiefs all day. Chiefs. Michael says Tony Goat Romo for next Cowboys head coach. I appreciate that. Cowboy Up Podcast is saying primetime Kirk. Is that your pick? You're going with the Falcons. I just want to confirm with you. Is anyone in the chat thinking and believing that the Falcons are going to beat the Chiefs? Again, this is in Atlanta. This is at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. This is not at Arrowhead. I don't know if that changes your pick. Gabe says Chiefs 28-13. They're without Pacheco. Does that change your opinion? Isaiah Pacheco out 6 to 8 weeks. That run game's not going to be there. Who's going to run the ball for the Chiefs? Cowboy Up is doubling down. He's going with the Falcons. They're going with the Falcons. Noah's also saying Falcons win 34-28. Hey, man, hats off to you guys. We'll shout you out next week if you choose the upset pick really well. Mears is saying Dirty Birds with the upset. Okay, we got some people going for the Falcons in the chat. And I can't argue with you. I would love to see the Falcons win and take down the Chiefs. Because the Falcons, let's double check this. Falcons are 1-1 and the Chiefs are 2-0. Hey, man, you know, as crazy as last week was with all the upsets, I wouldn't put it out of the realm of possibility of the Falcons beating the Chiefs. Blitz has a quick question. Says we need the Georgia head coach. Don't know if you agree. I'm out on college coaches. That's kind of unless I'm like convinced, but I'm out on college coaches coaching the Cowboys. That's just me, you know. Like, I don't want Sam Pittman coaching the Cowboys. That scares me. I just don't like the transition. It's such a low success rate for a successful college coach to go to the NFL and then to coach a team like the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think it just works out. Michael says Kirk Cousins is 0-4 versus the Chiefs. Great reporting skills there. Benintendi says, I'm scared to bet on that Chiefs game. Blitz says the Chargers coach, he's good. Okay, you're right. John Harbaugh is the exception. Now, I didn't say it was impossible. I just said it's a low success rate. But yes, John Harbaugh is really great. I mean, with what he did with the 49ers and everything, yes. Blitz says, bro, how do you keep finding these stats? Shout out to Michael, and I think it's Alex that have been keeping this chat going with the awesome stats. You guys are the rock stars. You guys are the all-stars of this live show. Keeping it going. I love it. Okay, I'm going to go with the Chiefs here. You see, you guys got me talking so much, and I love what you guys are talking about in the chat. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Chiefs here. I think Chiefs by 10. I don't know. Pacheco, I think, is going to make a difference, and that's really going to force Mahomes to throw. But I Chiefs by 10. All right, we got 2 Monday night games. This is going to be fun, man. 2 Monday night games. I'm always down for double dipping on Monday night. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars. Did I say that right? And the Buffalo Bills. The Jags, well, man, they're 0-2. And if you look at the AFC South, you got 3 teams that are 0-2, and you only got 1 team that's 2-0, which is the Texans. Can we just give the division to the Texans? Can we just give it to them in week 3? But on the other side, you got the Buffalo Bills, who I believe, yes, they're undefeated. The Bills may have figured it out low-key. I know they got rid of Diggs, but they may have figured it out in terms of because their defense looks good, looks pretty dominant. They really dominated Miami the other night. And Josh Allen isn't having to be Josh Allen. I mean, James Cook has been doing great things running the ball. Chat says Jags by 10. Bills win Monday night. Bills 31-13. Buffalo by 30? I would really love to see something competitive right here. I think the Jags can put up some points here. But I do have the Bills. I'm with you guys. I think we're all on the same page. Bills win this one. All right, and here we go. We got those pesky Washington Commanders playing the Cincinnati Bengals for our last game of week 3. This game's in Cincinnati. Bengals are coming off of a tough loss against the Kansas City Chiefs. And the Washington Commanders, if the season ended today, they would be your NFC East champs. Yes, they are on top of the NFC East right now. So you got Jaden Daniels got his first win. DQ got his first win with the Washington Commanders. And you got the Bengals, who are kind of figuring it out. I think the only way that they lose this game is if they underestimate the Commanders. But I think what you've seen from the Commanders so far this year will be the Commanders. And what I mean by that is like usually you see teams build and they grow and they improve because it's such a long season. But I think the Commanders have reached their ceiling. Honestly. I think they have. Everyone in the chat saying Bengals by 28. Bengals. Michael is saying Jaden Daniels legacy game this early? Maybe. I've been wrong. I was wrong last week, so you could be right. Blitz says refs suck when it comes to the Chiefs. Okay. Victor says Joe Burrow needs a win. He does, man. He does. They're 0-2. Oh my gosh, we haven't even talked about that. We've been talking about the Ravens being 0-2. What about the Bengals being 0-2? I think the Ravens being 0-2 is more of a surprise. But yes, thank you for reminding us, Victor. The Bengals need a win here. I mean, that will be super embarrassing if you lose at home to the Washington Commanders. Bengals beat the Bumanders 31-14, Noah says. Gabe says Bengals 31-13. Michael says Jaden Daniels legacy game, Washington wins by 7. Victor says Bengals by 30. I would say Bengals by 10. I would love to see a blowout, but yeah, I'll say Bengals by 10, like 24-14. Benettini says Burrow is 0-1 against the Commanders. Never won, but he's about to win on Monday night. Blitz says, Tony, wish me and my team luck next week when me and my football team versus Kerrville. Hey, man, best of luck, Blitz. Go out there and have fun. And, be a team leader. Do your job. And you'll win. Be a leader in that locker room. You'll do good, man. I'm excited for you. So shout out to Blitz, man. Good luck to your team. Wishing the best. Wishing you all stay healthy. And just have fun. Right? Just have fun out there. Shout out to you, Blitz. Michael says Bengals go 7-10 and miss the playoffs. We're making season predictions right now. All right, let's close out the chat that way. Let's close out this awesome live show. You guys have been amazing. But Michael, you came up with a great idea. I want everyone right now to give me your hottest take for the season. Give me your hottest take for the season. This is how we're going to end the night. Give me your hottest take for the season. I'll give you a minute to think about it. Then I want you to comment down below. What's your hottest take for the season? Kind of like how Michael just said Bengals go 7-10 and miss the playoffs. What do you got, chat? I got to think about mine. This is how we'll end the live show for tonight. This is how we'll end week 3 live picks. Benettini is first. Says Chiefs don't make playoffs. That's a scorching hot take. Anyone want to top it? Dallas beats 49ers but lose to Lions in the playoffs. Okay. That would be heartbreaking. It's like, oh, we finally beat the 49ers and then we lose to the Lions. The freaking Lions. Lizzie says, hypothetically, if we blow out the Ravens, what are your hopes for the Cowboys? If the Cowboys beat the Ravens, we are so back. Gabe says, Texans go to the championship but lose. What do you mean by that? Do you mean AFC championship or do you mean the freaking Super Bowl? That's an interesting one, Gabe. Alex says Dallas sweeps Philly. I'm all on board with that. In my season prediction video that I made back in May, look, Philadelphia is not a real team. The Cowboys can sweep them. Michael says 49ers don't make it past the first round. Oh, one and done? Interesting. Stephen A gets fired. That's a good one. Victor says, let's go Cowboys. Good night. Shout out to you, Victor. You've been awesome in the chat. Good night, man. Y'all have a good night. Let's see. Who else got that season prediction? I'm looking for one that's really good. I want one that's really good. That's going to just shake us all up tonight. I'm going to go... I'm thinking... I'll give you two. I'll say Chargers and Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. And I'll say Saints, number 1 seed in the NFC. The NFC, the Saints one is kind of like, that's been cooking for a little bit. But I think the Chargers can make the AFC Championship. But all right. I love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this Wednesday night. You guys are awesome. We're going to be doing this every Wednesday, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, talking football, talking a little Cowboys football. But, man, I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being active in the chat. Be sure to like. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, X, Instagram, TikTok. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Pre-game prediction video dropping tomorrow. Madden prediction dropping on Friday. And, of course, I will see you Sunday for the post-game reaction video for our Cowboys and the Ravens. But I will see y'all. Y'all have a great night. You guys were awesome. Good night, everybody.